Start thinking outside the box. We found at Hobby Lobby, they have, what are they for? Like the thin sheet metal?
The thin, yeah, metal burnishing.
They have, it's like mini versions of those rollers. Why not use them on leather?
I think I got one here. I think. Here.
I've taken.
That's one.
You got a question?
Is it the gold inside of the insect that she made with the design?
What?
Like gold leaf or something?
Oh, gold leaf?
I can't see it.
I can fix that.
You can use different things. Like there's acrylic paint, works really well on leather. Paint pens.
No comment. No comment. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yes, I'm a jerk. Just go with it.
Believe it or not, you can start experimenting. You can use different stuff as tolling stamps. We've used different screws and bolts to give it an industrial look, and it imprints pretty nice. Once again, try it out on a test piece of leather. Let me see. Where'd it go?
Al Stolman, you'll hear us talk about him a lot. He's one of the founding fathers of the modern leatherworking stuff. They started out in 1945. He was in the Pacific in World War II, and they were making knife sheaths and sheaths for their pistols and stuff like that. They were, since they didn't have any leather tools, they were actually taking bolts and cutting the bolts to make their tooling marks and to make tools. Those are all now in a museum, but it gives you an idea. We've got bolts all through the shop that one of us will go, oh dude, check this out. It works.
There's I kind of sidetracked a bit, but back on the topic of the design that you're going to transfer, in addition to the vellum, Tandy started putting out what's called craft aids. I think a couple of other companies have done them, but it's a piece of plastic sheet with one side with raised design edges on it. That's what that one piece is from. Is you take that raised edge side and you lay it flat on your wet leather, and you take something like, say, this or a burnisher, and you run it over the edges to imprint it into the leather, and then you have basically the effect of you taking a stylus and tracing it out yourself. It's just a lot quicker, and if you're working on a really large piece, it cuts down time a lot. You do that, and then you already have your edges ready to go and do your swivel knife and your tooling and everything. It doesn't do all the work for you. Moving on to, at some point, you are going to need to attach something to something or do snaps or whatever.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap! Yes, it's a cute little anvil. It is very, very useful. You can get this at Tandy. This one was custom made by a friend of ours that's here, 80 Cruz. But you can use a lot of different stuff depending on what you're working with. We found with our armor that sometimes it's got a really weird bowled out shape where it's really hard to get one of these in there. Different shapes of metal really help. We've gotten a pack of
auto
body hammer, like they're pieces that have different shapes of metal for hammering out dents and stuff on vehicles. Work beautifully if you get someone that, like when we're doing our hats and we have to have someone hold that solid piece in there inside the hat to set a rivet. There's no way that you're going to be able to set this on a table and then expect to be able to get a rivet set with the hat's crown being way up here. You have someone hold that inside the crown of the hat, and there you go. But that's another example of using a tool for a different intention that works beautifully. As far as setting rivets, once again, your almighty mallet. In addition to your rivet setter, it's just a simple rod of metal with a bored out end that fits over the rivet itself so that it doesn't flatten it. It keeps that nice rounded shape. Unless you want it flattened, then you can turn it around and just mash it down. But what that does is your different pieces like snaps and whatnot.
Oh, snap.
They usually rely on you mushrooming out a part. The inside of the rivets, it takes that post and it mushrooms it out inside of the cap, so that there's no way it's coming off. Same thing with the snaps. If you look on the inside, it's got a little peg in the middle, and it's curved on the outside, so it takes that round tube and mushrooms it out inside of the piece of the snap, so it's not coming out. You've not hit a mark. I love it. But as far as those tools go, like I said, it's all about just sitting there and beating on it. As odd and awkward as that sounds. When it comes to stitching, you have the different needles that you can get. You can get curved needles, you can get straight needles, you name it. Sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you can use one of these. This is a stitching awl. This is really good for doing quick stitching. You have two different needles it comes with. One has a bent end, the other doesn't. That has a hole right before the blade of the needle, and it feeds in the brain fart sinew, which is inside of here. You pull it out about I want to say 2 inches past the length that you'll need to be stitching, and you punch it through the hole, pull all that string out, and you hold it, pull it through, and it will start feeding in the sinew, and you punch it through the next one, and what it does is it has a loop. You feed all that string through, pull it back, same thing all the way through, and then you tie it at the end. Really good for doing really quick stitching. It's lock stitching, right?
Yeah.
On the topic of sinew itself, comes in a lot of different colors. If you look on my phone case, it's red. They come in green, purple, blue, you name it. Rainbow colors, yeah. They come in all different kinds of colors. It's artificial sinew. It's got wax on it and everything. After you're done, you can run your finger along and kind of mash it down into the groove of the leather, and it looks really nice and clean.
Cut through their skin faster than anything that they've ever met.
This stuff doesn't play. This is what they used to, the real stuff they used to use to, they still do sometimes on bows. This was your string, your bow string. But this is artificial sinew. Looks like the real stuff, works just like the real stuff. It's comes in a bunch of different colors.
It's about 220-pound test.
It's strong stuff. Isn't it made out of the innards?
Originally, it was made out of the hamstring from your thigh down to your ankle. What it's made out of now is actually shredded leather and other fiber is what it's called.
I think like polyester.
Yeah. So
it's one of those artificial ones.
But what the really good stuff you can actually get is actually a fibrous. But this stuff here has it's called nylafine and nylafine.
You guys, when you start getting your tools and stuff, go down, spend the money. If the Tandy doesn't have it, go online and find it. Get this book. This is your Bible for tools. Okay? This book will go through and show you, one, it'll go over everything we've talked about on how to use the basics of the tools. He even goes so far in here into how to make screwdrivers into punches, how to make some of the bolt stamps. It gives you an idea. And this book will also teach you, to tell you exactly how to sharpen every one of your tools, the right way and the wrong way, and how not to mess your blades up on your tools. There's a lot of money sitting on this table. You don't want to go messing up your gear. Okay?
I'll also tell you how to care for them, how to clean them. Cleaning these tools, when you're, especially when you're stamping, if you don't clean them every so often, they won't stamp.
Yeah, and if you drop them, you just pretty much toss them away.
Who's the author?
Al Stolman.
The man himself.
The man himself.
There used to be a publication called Leather Crafters,
that would be these.
Yeah. See if I can find a picture
In
of the
fact,
hole punch.
Leather Craftsman, you can still get these.
Leather Craftsman.
In fact, let me show you the Valhalla of Valhalla that someday I will have. Let me see, where's it at? I know it's in here. A lot of these are some really old. This one, oh, this one doesn't have a picture. If you get a chance, I'll have to find the book and I'll post a picture of it online. That is Al. Let's see.
That's Al's self-portrait.
Yep, that's his self-portrait. That is done in leather.
And that is his work.
And that's what I was going to try and
That's
find.
in the museum.
There's an actual picture of his workbench that he had for him and his wife. Oh my God.
That's at the Al Strobin Museum.
That is your hole punch I was talking about.
Don't get a cheap one.
Do not get the cheap one. The other cool thing about those is, if you saw that black spring metal, it's just a straight piece of metal and it springs it back open. Tends to be the part that messes up the quickest, meaning, you know, maybe a year down the road. They usually last a while. Regardless, if your tool isn't working right, if it breaks in any way, those have a lifetime warranty. Bring it back to the tandy, say, hey. And they're supposed to replace it for you. We got trouble with like I said, the one we go to that's closest to us is kind of wonky. The one in Austin is amazing.
Let me go into the books real quick. We're running out of time fast. Like I said, and Dave said, there's a whole bunch of books you can get out there. The Leather Craftsman, they do still trip bars everywhere. They do still probably, you can get these subscription to them. One of the things you can do is if you find an old leather worker, a lot of times, like any of us that are craftsmen, I'm sure Dave's got his collection of them. We have libraries of these. If there's a specific project you're working on, get a hold of one of us. I'm sure we've got one of these somewhere. We'll photocopy them or scan them into the computer and send them to you PDF files.
You can get them on CD.
And you can get them on CD now too. There's a bunch of places with the internet that you can go online and get the books in a PDF file or order the CDs and have your computer, like all of us have our computer screen set up on our work tables. So you can sit there and roll through it. I do not know, I mean, I understand they're trying to get all of the picture onto the book, but you have to have a special sized bookshelf to fit a lot of these. And Al Stolman and the